It's crazy to believe, but high school football is right around the corner, and that's what we're talking about here tonight. Let's bring in the experts from VYPE Magazine. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Matt Malatesta and Joshua Cook. Their magazine, their football preview, powered by Academy. Sponsor plug right there. In stores right now. Go pick it up. It's excellent. So, guys, let's kick off this conversation talking 6A. The best teams in 6A right now. They're on your screen according to VYPE Magazine. Joshua, you go ahead with your #1 team.
Well, some surprise here with the #1 team as the North Shore Mustangs came in at #1. And a lot of the talk was, you know, Katy and North Shore met in the playoffs last year. Katy beat them. And that's been some of the talk. But North Shore is that young team that's really coming up right now. They've got a young core of guys. They've got Demetrius Davis at quarterback. They've got Shadrach Banks at wide receiver. And then they've got Zach Evans at running back. Everybody knows who Zach Evans is. He's the big-time running back, 2020 class. He could be the top recruit in the country when everything is said and done. But I think North Shore had a very young core last year. They got a lot of experience. They're back. They're ready to go here for 2018. Then, of course, you have the Katy Tigers. Gary Joseph, the legend that he is.
They're always there.
They're always there. Katy, if you don't have them in your top 3, then the rankings aren't even worth putting out. Katy Tigers are back. DeAndre Glass is in his senior year. He's a 2019 kid, can go anywhere he wants. They've got some holes to fill on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. Michael Mattis was a big one that they have to replace. He went to Arizona State last year. And then Bryson McClellan is going to step in at quarterback. I think that could be a big difference for Katy. He looked really good during 7-on-7, moved them down the field well. Now the question is going to be, how does he transfer that over into the regular season on the field for the Katy Tigers? But those two, they're #1, #2 in our VYPE rankings. And by the way, they meet week 1 of the Texas high school football season, and you couldn't have asked for a better meeting.
That's what I love about those non-district schedules.
Right.
You get to see these titans go up against each other. All right, Matt, your other 2 teams to look out for.
Yeah, we got 2. You know, last year Cy-Fair wins the state championship, and they weren't really in. They were like a top 10 team. So other teams to look out for. Of course, the Woodlands Highlanders is a power. You've got Langwood Creek. It's kind of a surprise. Had made history last year, getting to the regional finals. Westfield Mustangs, tremendous quarterback in Terrence Gibson. So those are 3 teams to kind of look out for. That's kind of on that next level.
All right, Class 5A now, and it starts with the 2 M's, right? Marshall and Manville. They're on your screen right there. But again, some teams to look out for in that classification.
Well, I'll tell you what, Fort Bend Marshall is loaded. They win a state track tournament, or they win the state championship in track. Speed kills in this game, right?
Oh yeah.
So
especially the way they play.
Absolutely, they're going to be loaded. Manville, you can't ever count them out. They've split schools with Shadow Creek. Their head coach is now an assistant coach at Syracuse University. Times are changing at Manville, but I'm anxious to see if the winning, traditions remain. But I think it will.
Joshua?
Yeah, the other teams, when you go down a little further, I think Magnolia West is an interesting program this year. John Matoka comes back at quarterback. He really kind of solidifies that side of the ball for them. J.D. Burner's done a great job at Magnolia West. I think they're one of our top teams in the city to watch. And then Friendswood's an interesting one. They dropped down from 6A to 5A. They come in at #5, which some people say they are a former 6A team, but that doesn't mean you're going to have automatic success dropping down to classification. They bring back Luke Gurdon at quarterback. He was a freshman last year, kind of got thrown into the fire in the playoffs, and he shined in those. He went 3-1 in the playoffs, made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs, and I'll be interested to see what a full offseason and a full fall ball does for him. They do have to replace some pieces, but Friendswood's definitely one of those teams to watch that could really sneak up and be a top team in 5A.
I've always liked watching Friendswood play because they always play, it seems, above what their expected level is, right? And especially in 6A. But now, I mean, this will be interesting.
Yeah,
definitely to
great
see.
coaching.
Great coaching for sure. Now, players, let's focus on those individual players. We talked about DeAndre Glass at Katy. Everybody knows him. I think I've been watching him for like 10 years over there at Katy,
Right.
It seems like, making highlights. But the other guys to keep an eye on.
Well, here's kind of a sleeper, not so much in our world, but Malik Hornsby is a kid at Houston Austin who, people think like he's the next Vince Young. That's a big
interesting.
That's really a heavy load to carry, but as an HISD guy, Houston Austin has all the tools, had a great summer. Watch out for him.
Joshua?
I think 1, 2, I'm going to stay at quarterback, and because that's what we like to talk about. We like to talk about the guys that sling the football down the field. It's going to be Terrence Gibson at Westfield. I think he really took that big step in the offseason. He got a lot of arm strength. He was really zipping the ball. And I think that's one thing I like to watch when I watch a quarterback is how well can you zip the ball coming out of your hand. Because if it floats out of your hand, it's going to get picked off 9 times out of 10 if it really floats out of your hand.
Right.
But he was putting passes into some spots that really guys don't do. They just don't put it there on that spot. He's very verbally committed to SMU. I think he could have a huge year for Westfield. And Westfield's that other team that we keep them in our top 5 just because of the job that Corby Meekins did their first course. Now he's at University of Texas with Tom Herman.
Right.
And now his brother Matt Meekins has got that program continuing. They kind of took a lump last year in the playoffs. They lost to Lufkin, which now is a big 5A power. But I think that motivated them in the offseason. I think Westfield's going to be a team to watch, and Terrence Gibson is going to be the key for them.
All right, so now storylines that we can touch on, aside from the teams, aside from the players, it's storylines we were talking about earlier that so many new schools are here in this area, and that creates problems and opportunities for a lot of these kids and a lot of these coaches.
Well, I'll tell you what, the city of Houston is growing so fast, and these ISDs are doing a great job at making schools more competitive, but at a smaller rate, so more kids have an opportunity. But you have schools opening in Klein, Montgomery, the new schools in Katy, Shadow Creek is in the Alvin ISD. So they might take their lumps early, but it's really great to see more kids have an opportunity and just more buzz around high school football as it relates to different campuses.
I remember back when Cinco Ranch opened up. That was the first graduating class from Cinco Ranch, and we took a 3-0 lead on Katy. I'll never forget that. And then we ended up losing that game 63-3.
Right.
That was terrible. So the lumps will definitely happen. All right, Joshua, for you.
I think it's about the newness as well. It's about all these new coaches. We've really felt like this year we went through more coaching changes than we've ever gone through in the city of Houston. You had some kind of Hall of Fame caliber coaches. I know Mark Schmidt at the Woodlands stepped away from his job, and that left a big job opening. Jim Rapp steps into that position. He's been at the Woodlands. He's kind of the Woodlands guy through and through, and he'll fill in there well. And then Klein Collins, they lost Drew Svoboda down to Rice University, where he became the running backs coach, and they had to fill that position for a coach that had been there for 10 years, had really built that program up. Adrian Mitchell sets up, and he's going to be the new coach there. And then the other one, recently Tom Nolan steps down from Lamar here during the summertime, and that's a big loss to the Texas high school football community. I mean, 33 years at Lamar, 31 playoff appearances, 20 outright district championships. You just don't replace a guy like that. So I think all these new coaches, they're going to come in, they're going to try to make their mark, but definitely some ones to watch are going to be the Woodlands and Klein Collins, and of course all the brand new high schools, because those coaches are really going to try to come in and make a splash here in 2018.
I'm going to miss Tom driving around his golf cart on the practice field. I always enjoyed going out there and talking to him. All right, guys, Matt Malatesta, Joshua Cook, VYPE Magazine, go pick it up. You can catch this whole segment online as well.